podcast. This is Steve Young. Give it a go, my friend. Last but not least, always at the back of the peloton, we have Mr. Adam Webb, the Webster, the man you know when you see him on the start line. He's going to make you suffer. So he's at the back. He's sitting at 140 beats per minute, but this is what he does. He sits at the back until you have to attack. So I see Frank Deal in the chat is commenting saying, how is the double draft working for Giron? Habital Tall Gunner. Not quite sure what that's supposed to mean, but yes. As James Phillips has been spat off the back, I'm sure he's going to get back on, but the pace is quite picked up near the front now, as it is P. Henderson of Race WBR on this little up and down, very undulating terrain piece of the course. You can, of course, see the entire profile up in the top right-hand corner. If it's not going up, then it's going down, and this is one of those sections where it's going up. So double draft is something new that Zwift has introduced and that KISS has adopted to their whole racing series. So if you're joining a KISS race, which means keep it simple stupid, that means double draft, true draft, full draft, draft 2.0, or whatever else the community is going to adopt the name for it, as Henderson once again goes on to the attack, is activated and is being utilized in the race. So if you've raced Zwift before, you may know that the drafting isn't the most realistic. Like, you're not able to freewheel, you're not really able to let go at some points. It's always about keeping that chain tight and being in it, but with this new double drafting feature introduced, and see the watts per kilo go up. You can see the start finish banners right there. Goes up to 4, goes up to 5, it goes all the way up to 8%, I believe. It's 100 meters at 8%. David Williams is leading the charge at 9 watts per kilograms. We're seeing a featherweight being popped further down the pack. No other power-ups being popped around. That must mean they're either saving their aero power-ups, or they don't feel like they need to be using their drafts, as we just saw a draft come up, or an aero power-up. So we're seeing Franz Crypt in the chat saying, I don't like the double draft, makes my solo breakaway wins too difficult, people will sit in much more. A story I am hearing about the double draft is that it makes the peloton so much quicker. So it's almost this is just a story, this is just what I've been hearing because I've yet to race with double draft, as an aero power-up is being popped. This is a questionable move, but Valdemar seems to be going on to the attack here, and an aero power-up is being popped to try and go on with this. So there's definitely a move happening here at the front now with P. Henderson, Arbor, and a few other riders. That hill has actually made a bit of a gap now as 5 riders are breaking away, and this is what I was going to talk about. Once you get away, once you actually break the draft, since it's a double draft, that means you can rest up more. You can go hard at the front, sit in, go hard at the front, and sit in. So once you break it up, which we do see now with the double draft in effect, we do see 3 very selective groups out on the road. We got a leading group, a chasing group, and a second chasing group. This is what's happening now thanks to the double draft. You can see further back there's another group spat off the back. Gavin Richardson is having to attack, trying to help the designated sprinter for innovation, which is James Phillips. Maybe Steve Young has got something to say about that, but with that incline being at the very end, maybe Steve is just a bit too heavy for that. But in the middle group here, you can see them trying to get back on, and we do have a split in the race. On the first of 8 laps, there's been a split. Gavin Arbor is at the front now, so one of the innovation members have made it. They've got about 5 to 6 riders in here. This is getting exciting. This is getting, not very often in Zwift racing do you get strategy like this. This is almost like an impromptu echelon being caused by that steep finish into it, and they see the prize money offered by CVR, the e-crits by Zwift, and more teams are starting to get together. And with the introduction of New York as a race course, it's one of those courses where if you come together as a team, especially on double draft, that could be very interesting to see how that excels in the future. And maybe even there was rumors about UCI getting involved in esports. Imagine a sanctioned UCI Esports World Championships on Zwift. How fun would that be? Kim Little is watching. Thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. I also see Christopher Durham is saying race WBR for the win. We've got a lot of different teams in here tonight. Predominantly it's innovation, it's draft, it's KRT. Those are the main teams. As we have Trusinski attacking off the front. Team Poland. And my good friend Daniel Vatonia would tell me that's not... Is it an eagle? I could not tell. Oh, he told me what bird that was. Oh my god. Oh, I should never even have tried. Daniel Vatoina, please forgive me. But Trusinski has gone off the front for Team Poland. Single move, he would have liked to have a friend up there with him. Going solo with 7 laps to go, with 40 kilometers to go yet in double draft. It is a danger move, but Trusinski is going for it. This is something we'd see a lot in the Australian races with riders like Zach Johnson and Cameron Roberts. They would try to get off the road, but they try to get help. They would do it with somebody else, but a solo rider off the front with so many team members back in the chasing peloton. And if you look at the right hand side of the screen, you can see the watts per kilo they're all putting out. They're all relatively low. If you were to introduce the graph, which I can do right now, because I'm using a simulator, it's all static at the bottom, but if they were racing, if they were actually racing in the game, you'd see that graph at the very bottom. It would go up and down, spiky. But at this point in the race, they're all relaxing, they're all sitting in. It'd be in the gray, and it'd be very far down. But they're all getting ready again now for another acceleration as they hit another incline, I believe, very, very soon as they're nearing the finish line for the second time of affairs tonight. A lap is roughly around 6 kilometers, 6.5 kilometers. They turn left down here. They go over that cobblestone bridge, we would almost call it. And then they've got... See, we need to come up with a name. We need to come up with a name because the Innsbruck, the last climb on the Innsbruck ring is called the Leg Snapper. We came up with that in cohesion with the Chop Racing series, but here on Kiss Racing, here in Zwift Community Live, in the chat right now, I want you to come up with a name for this finishing climb. So they're going to go over this bridge, they're going to take a right or left, and then they're going to take another left, and they're going to go straight up over the finishing straight. 100 meters at roughly 8% average. I want you in the chat right now to come up with a name so we can call this climb by its proper name. So I'm looking at you, Kim Little, looking at you, Nils Heldens, and Johnny Knopp is tuning in all the way from Long Beach, California. I hope you're enjoying the show, man. We are 2 laps of 8 laps into this Kiss Racing tonight here in Europe. So the attack from Trujinski looks to be not paying off as much as he's 3 seconds up the road, 2 seconds. It's coming back as we're hitting the climb. Corin Black is saying it should be called a gravel grinder. That could be a name. That's definitely up for debate. If you agree with Corin Black, let us know in the chat below. But Trujinski is now being caught. Last time we came to this part of the course, there was a split. There was an echelon. It was attacks. And we had groups of 3 out on the road. As Ryan Goldenberg calls it the torture homage to the Liberty. I like that. The torture is not a bad name, Ryan Goldenberg on Zwift. Have you even tried it out yet? If not, if you haven't tried it, what do you think about the idea of double draft? As we're now turning left down here, down the descent, and then we're going to make a left-hand turn somewhere down here, and then it's going to go up again. And having raced this course once with the heart of gold, I'm happy to see you in here, man. I'd like to have seen you in the race. But here we go. As Ryan Goldenberg put it, we're on the torture. David Williams. The torture actually goes both ways because it could be the torturer and the torture, depending on where your accent is from and how bloodish it is. Like mine is American, British, and Danish. So sometimes it blends together. But looking at trends, David Williams is always the first over the line. This is the 3rd time in a row he's been first over the line. If we look by that trend and 5 laps to go, 30 kilometers, maybe in half an hour's time, it can be David Williams who will take the win. That'd be great for KRT. But we've got a counterattack off over the top here. Again, it's Team Poland going onto the move, but is anyone going with him? It is double draft. You're going to have a team member with you. It's Pixar and Rabrzyk from Team Poland. A 2-up attack have gone onto the front with a 3rd pole. This is a team strategy from Poland. They're working together now to try and break up that peloton. Even so much, an aero power-up is being popped further back by one of the Polish riders to try and really break things up. Or if we go to the helicopter view, you can see that there's a 2-second gap now with Steve Young and a few other riders, but it is double draft. You can take turns in the front now in Zwift. You can go to the front and sit back in, take turns, and Rabrzyk has brought it back in together. We have just hit 100 live concurrent viewers. Thank you so much for everyone tuning in so far. We're only 26 minutes into the broadcast. There's another 30 minutes of racing left. So if you're enjoying it so far, make sure to tell a friend, click a reaction button, join the conversation below, join the Ian Anderson, the John Rodens, the Harvard Thomason, and the Neil up and get through it. That way you get over the top and it's over before you know it. You have to do that. It's almost like the escalators in London. If you race the London courses with Box Hill, Fox Hill, Surrey Hills, there's that escalator that takes you into the tube and out to the course. You always know that can be a really tough one. As Trujinski just went out the back there for a second. He's fighting to get back in. He had a bit of a sticky draft. There's something. Is he stuck in quicksand? What is happening to Trujinski? Did he press A? Did he accidentally press one of the shortcuts to stop your avatar? Ooh, this is a big move for Team Poland here as he's off the back, but it also looks like we have two guys off the front. James Bird is now watching. Thank you very much for joining in, the great, the mighty Bird. We do have a two-man breakaway. It was formed, but it looks like F first name, last name, as I assume that stands for, has pulled up and is trying to get back to the peloton, but no. That is it for him today. He's had enough. He's done. He helped get on the breakaway, and that is it. That was interesting, but now that leaves Gavin Dempster out 6 seconds on his own, and his heart rate has come up 10 beats per minute. Has the sticky draft also doubled? Basinga. Somebody get Frank Deal a medal. He just came up with it, with the jokers now going out, but back in the peloton, they're not starting to panic yet. Everyone is starting to look to WBR. They're starting to look to Poland. They're starting to look at Innovation Cycling. The numbers favor Innovation Cycling. I have to say that right now as we're halfway throughout the race. Innovation Cycling, if you're listening in, the pressure tonight is on you. You're showing up with at least 3 riders who have competed and represented your state, the Statue of Liberty homage, the torture. Is this thing with you guys as well? Maybe it's just the way I'm pronouncing it because I'm a tiny bit under the weather that it just sounds so familiar. But where is Daffy Williams? We know he likes to be at the front. Kniep is up there as well. Tushinsky, Boberic, Gavin Arbor, Pluk. We're going to see the first time of 5 laps today that it's not Daffy Williams who's first over the line. We see Claudia Bering is joining in the chat tonight. Thanks for tuning in, Claudia. Daffy Williams, 4th, 5th over the line. So now is the time, though, you start looking around thinking, what does he have got in the leg? Well, Lex, what have I got left? What power-up do I have? I didn't really bother getting that aero power-up. I have a drafting power-up. Do I use it? Do I risk just getting experience for the rest of the race? It's safe to say with the level of playing field we have here tonight, most of them have an aero power-up, and when we get to the final lap, saying it's a sprint, we should see fireworks. We should see every single one with that blue turtle shell over the name. It should light up like a Christmas tree, but a sprint might not be set on. We see another attack off the front now. It is again Team Poland. It looks like Team Poland have had a pre-race meeting, a briefing prior to the stage tonight here in KISS Eurobrace, and they really want to try and break things up. They know how strong Innovation Cycling is if it comes to a sprint. I mean, Steve Young is so powerful, he can manage to dislodge his bike from a Cyclops hammer. Not many can say they can put that onto their CV. Well done, Steve. Mr. Pythons, as he just pops up on screen together with Gavin Arbor. I could not have timed that more perfectly. Thank you very much, Zwift, for being my wingman and providing that joke. But look at the torture now for another time. Daffy Williams, of course, is back on the front. I'm just trying to recover from that one. I didn't. Oh, he's back in now. I saw him there. I saw him. It was a visual bug, not a gameplay bug. So just quick mistake, but Daffy Williams is back. If there was preems in KISS Road Racing, Daffy Williams would be the king. He'd be taking them all. Just been praising you and your team's initiative early on in this broadcast, seeing how Fusion and SIS and Wahoo are really trying to re-innovate, or I guess not really re-innovate, as no one has really done this properly just yet. The whole esport atmosphere club, quite an effort here. Team Poland's been mentioned quite a lot as they've been putting in efforts. They've been putting in great display of strategy. So yeah, Rachel is in the bees. So get up the Zwift companion app on your phone right now and search for Rachel Elliott as Team Poland once again goes on to the attack. Search up for Rachel Elliott of KRT on the companion app and give her a ride on. That would be such a great thing. That would be your good deed of the day. Make it rain ride-ons for Rachel Elliott right now, and you, my friend, has made a good deed. No, here comes Martin Schrun saying, brace yourself. Team Poland is coming. Here they go. They listened to the word of advice. They chose a place in the middle of the course. And ladies and gentlemen, now is the time to wake up. Team Poland's gone on to the attack. Pershinga and Gerbiski and Dempster. And I'm totally butchering these Polish names. But at least I'm trying, Jaszek. So do apologize. We have a split now. Pushka has gone on to the attack and has split the peloton in two. It is only the very strongest and those that were awake that has gone with his group. James Phil is in no man's land. He's going to have to use his sprint to get back on now. 7.5 watts per kilo, 2 seconds, 1 second. He's bringing back the entire peloton. But that was Team Poland once again trying to go on to the attack. Gemma Anchors, not the top fan of Zwift Community Live. I almost said Jesper Anchor. Says Rachel, what a legend. That's almost karma that I choked on my words right there. That one is for you, Gemma. But James Phillips taking a turn on the front, closing that gap down. But I don't think that is the end of Team Poland. They televised it in the peace out, but thanks for sticking around. I see Tim Fulford has made it home from the Cycling Hub office. Thank you for tuning in as well, Tim. And thank you to Russ Crowder for keeping me company. And to the rest of you, whoever, if you tune in just for a second, or if you just tune in now, you've commented, you haven't, you've liked, or you haven't, in 5 minutes of me just yelling into a microphone, me just talking to you guys, and you guys responding back to it. And the same thing goes with the Razors. The Razors raise. You saw Team Poland get involved in the chat saying, be aware, Team Poland is unleashed. They only do that because you guys react, you engage, and you love it as much as everyone else. It's a community, it's a feeling, it's the Zwift effect. So thank you so much for making this a lot easier. Frank Dale is saying, missed an opportunity for the split. Nobody wanted to keep working, allowed the chase to catch back on. It's so true. We're coming up to the torture now as the great Ryan Goldenberg has dubbed it. I liked it. I like it. The torture. I'm staying with it. I'm staying with it, Ryan. We have dubbed the climb the torture because it's staying in there now. Gavin Dempster near the front. Where's Daffyd Williams? We know the great Daffyd the Duck is going to be up here somewhere near the front now. The great Welshman is going to take left. It's up to 4%, 5% now. It's Gavin Arbor. It's Henderson. It's Lower Finesse who's streaming this still over on Twitch. 8 watts per kilo. Gavin Arbor, 6, 7. We're not seeing the big 10 watts per kilo as we see on the Trafalgar Square climb in London, as we see on the Innsbruck climb, the leg snapper on the Innsbruck ring. We do see the 8s, we do see the 7s, and we see another featherweight being popped by Baryshnik. That's probably the 4th or 5th variation of that name I pronounced tonight. But anyway, Team Poland right on, come on. And once again, Gavin Dempster is so eager to be in a breakaway. Gavin Dempster has unlimited matches. He keeps just burning another, burning another, burning another. Soon that matchbook is going to be empty, but the question is, when is that going to be the case? He's sitting at 6 watts per kilo again. You know the drill. 2 laps to go. 6 down. 2 laps to go. Who's going to win the KISS European race here tonight on Zwift Community Live? I want you in the chat right now to give me a prediction. You've seen the race from start to finish, or wherever you tuned in to this point. I want a name in the chat right now. Whoever guesses the prediction right, you'll get a like. I'll go back and I'll give you a thumbs up on your comment. But it looks like Gavin Dempster has been caught again. The peloton has definitely been withered down, as we can see. A few riders have been dropped. Loeb has been dropped. Garotti has been dropped. Woodward has been dropped. And I don't think they're going to get back on. Frank van der Ploeg is going to be the back of this group. So that is it. We whittle down to just about 15 riders. As Stephen Young, James Phillips, this is an innovation attack. They have innovated and they have invaded the race of KISS European race. Steve Young, James Phillips, Gavin Richardson, go, 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 come on. This is a great move from Innovation Cycling if they can hold this up. With 2 laps to go, they definitely coordinated this one. Steve Young leading on the chase. Look, this is a move that Carl Augustin will be proud of, but they've got a passenger. They've actually got 2, but they'd almost be welcome to have that. As CG Gov is saying, Penn Henderson is going to be the one to win it tonight, but now they got to stay on it with a new double draft feature. You can take turns in the front. It's Gavin Richardson's turn. Back in the peloton, how are they reacting to this? Team Poland's got a member up there. Gavin Dempster is popping an arrow. We're seeing another arrow for Gavin Arbor. This is the race, ladies and gentlemen. This is where you've got to bridge across. Otherwise, you can see Innovation cycle away, swim away into the distance with the win. Gavin Dempster driving Gavin Arbor up to the group now. So that's another Innovation member to take a turn on the front. Great team move there. Great strategy from Innovation Cycling. That has withered it down even further as Team Poland riders off the back. Daffyd Williams is off the back. And now it is truly Innovation Cycling versus the bunch. 2 laps to go. Innovation needs to keep taking turns in the front. Do not let back Pishka from Team Poland. He's really fighting to get back on, but look at that cadence, 70 RPM. He's got nothing left. You got to stay on it now if you are Innovation Cycling. Do not let Team Poland get another member back, but fortunately, it was a little too late. Johan Wallström of Sweden, thank you so much for tuning in, and the Swedish Zwift riders. I also saw Martin Björvik is in here. Thank you so much for tuning in, my good friend. It is a shame I'm not on the Zwift Wahoo Tour for Scandinavia this year, because I would love to come see you again in Stockholm on Söderborg. Great move from Innovation, though. I mean, it's still at 4.5 to 5 watts per kilo, but it's not as high as when Innovation attack, because they're doing it again now. Stevie Young, it's Wonder Boy who's going on to the attack. What is he doing now? 10 watts per kilo. Gavin Richardson needs to slow up. This is not the move for Gav. This is not the move. If you are Gavin Richardson, you let this one go. Bring it down. He realized it. He does it now. You sit back on the wheel. Now you draft on Christensen. Steve Young, 5 seconds up the road. Glenn Salyasin is in here. Here we go. This is the move from Innovation. Good reaction from Gavin Richardson to let go of the attack. James Phillips on the front, block it, and so is Gavin Arbor. This is Innovation. This could be the move. This could be the race. We could see the man with the 2 Pythons going to sail away with this. As long as he can stay on his turbo trainer, he might have this one in the back. It's up to Team Poland to react to this, and Gavin Dempster. Team Draft, where are you at? This is a one-man band of Gavin Dempster closing down every attack with very little help. James Phillips is on his case. All he's got to do is just match Gavin Dempster watt for watt, watts per kilo for watts per kilo. And speaking of Team Draft, I see Leandro Massinio's in there. Ryan Gugliano is cheering for Gavin Dempster, a Draft team member. I gotta say, my heart goes out to Gavin Dempster. He's racing everything he's got. He's using every single trick in the book. But so is Innovation, because that was Steve Young. In a second, I think we're going to see Gavin Arbor. I think either Gavin Arbor or Gavin Richardson are going to go on to the attack and try to do the same thing they just did before. What's going to happen next is the question. They've got 9 kilometers to go, a lap and a half. Innovation will not wait for a sprint. They've done all this work. Oh, I saw Gavin Dempster's off the back. Oh, come on, Gav. Come on. Fight to get back in. I know you can do it, man. Just imagine this is the final leg of a Weymouth half Ironman. Come on, Gav. You can do it all the way from Newcastle. Representing the North and East is Gavin Richardson. He's coming back on. Again, James Phillips, maybe. Now the question is, what does Innovation do? Do they want to lose Gavin Richardson off the back and just say, look, you're not going to win tonight. We're going to need to try and break in a hard place. He's got Team Poland. He's got Innovation Cycling. If either is represented in the front, no one else will work. You literally have to cover every single attack. Every single attack at Gavin Dempster. But if there's a man that can do it, if there's somebody who's got the willpower, as you finale, it's you. I'm rooting for you, Scotsman. Come on. It's time to do your best William Wallace performance and break free. Come on, you can do this. Jesper's whipping out his Danish card like he whips out. I'm actually looking at 2 business cards right next to me. Nils Hilton's. That is a fun fact. And looks like Leandro Massinio liked that comment. I'm looking at you, Leo. So, last level racing coming up. Are you hyped? Are you entertained? If so, make sure to click a like, click a love, maybe even share the stream with a family member, because here we go. Last 6.9 kilometers of racing. I do not really have a bell near me, but as we head up to the torture, that's a featherweight being popped. Is that Gavin Arbors? I think that might be. Actually, that's James Phillips popping a featherweight this late into the race. That seems to be a rookie mistake, but we'll see if it pays off. Nobody's gone on to the attack just yet. Team Poland versus Innovation Cycling here tonight. 1 lap to go. I'm going to use my trusty Cycling Hub mark to ring the bell. If you can hear that right now, ladies and gentlemen, we have 1 lap of racing left in the KISS European race tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it, but now it's about to get better. The strategy, thank you so much, Duane Grain. Now the strategy is going to come into play. Who's going to attack? Who's going to sit in? Who's the designated sprinter? Who's the domestique? Have you got enough beat-ons? Do you pop a gel? Do you pop a power-up? As Matt Brand is tuning in, another draft member, I can tell you that we have Gavin Dempster just at the back of this group. This is not a good place to be, Gavin. Somebody could attack in a second, and you could be on the wrong end of this. Slowly, the pace is coming up. It's Gavin Arbor, 6 watts per kilo. Trushinsky's at 8 watts per kilo. 6 kilometers until the finish. We're on the last lap with a reverse 6 train course. Who's going to take the honors tonight? We've done an hour racing so far. You've done the hard bit. Now it's all about finishing it off. If you've gotten this far, you've earned your spot. You've earned your right to compete for the sprint. You have got to do everything in your might, in your ability to finish this off. At this point, as my good friend and coach Tim would say, it's mind over matter. Like, your legs are going to be screaming, your heart is going to be screaming, but your brain has to come over all of that and tell yourself, look, you've done it 7 times before. This is just the 8th. This time, it's just a tiny bit faster. Everyone is exciting. Come on, here we go. Attack from Gavin Arbor. This is the attack I was talking about, but it's being matched. It was telegraphed far out. Christensen is with him. Zwift is on it as well. James Phillips is now moving on to the attack. He's covering the attacks. Waldemar's back there. Penn Henderson, Persinga, but Gavin Dempster is just sitting in. He knows his move might not stick, or at least he's hedging his bet. that it might not stick. Christensen is down. Good move by Gavin Arbor. It's not the last attack. I think we'll see Gavin Dempster. Gavin Dempster is about to counter launch over the top here. We're going to look on him as that's the wrong Gavin, but I think Gavin Dempster played his cards right there, looking in as Anthony Porsche is watching. Thank you, man. It's been a long time no see. Gavin Arbor goes again, but it's off the front. He keeps going from off the front. It's being marked by Christensen again. Gavin Dempster matches this one. He's sitting third wheel, but thanks to that double draft, he only has to do about 5 watts per kilo. 3.5 now. Gavin Arbor has to go further back. He has to go further back when he does that. You can't attack off the front. It is basic cycling racing 101. You have to come from out of the field of vision and go off the front. Gavin has unlimited matches. I think we're about to see that being disproven tonight. Gavin Dempster, deep down, I know he's human. I've seen him at CVR Vancouver. I'm sorry, Gavin, but I believe in you, but you got to choose the right moment. Now's the time to engage that brain, as 113 viewers here on Zwift Community Live is watching you race. You've done this all the way to this point with 3.5 kilometers to go. There's realistically no more inclines left except for the finishing line. There's gonna be another attack. There's gonna be Team Poland is gonna give this one another go. Either Team Poland or Gavin Dempster. We're looking around. This is the last little bit of up and down before the sprint. Who's gonna go for it now? Team Poland. This is where they attacked previously. I'm still waiting for that confirmation in the chat from the other Polish guys saying, beware, Team Poland is gonna be unleashed. Looking at the right hand side, Gavin Arbor is sacrificing himself, it looks like, for the two main sprinters. Oh, Trzynski's at 6.5. Gavin Arbor, oh, he's itchy. He is so happy on that trigger finger. Did you see the reaction from Gavin Arbor? It was just on the button as soon as Trzynski upped the pace. Gavin Arbor was on him. James Phillips, the main man, the sprinter sitting in. Valdemar Dempster. Oh, the tension is so tight in the air. You can almost cut it with a cake knife. Who's gonna take this? This has been such a great race so far, and I can say, looking at this with double draft in mind, it's made it much more tactical. Gavin Dempster popping a boost from out here. 2 kilometers to go, 2.5. Oh, James Corliss says James Phillips for the win with Stevie Young second. Dwayne Gray thinks Steve Young will get it. An innovation 1-2, but Gavin Dempster popping the draft power up out here. What is that? Oh, 9 watts per kilo. He's going to try to abuse this. He's going to try to abuse this. This is clever from Gavin Dempster. He used that group to his advantage. Weaved in and out, but Trzynski and Phillips is on it. Come on, Gavin. Come on. You got to stay on this now as Ryan Christensen has joined in on the action. This is your one move, Gavin. You've made it. Now stick with it. But unfortunately, look at that. He's got the 2 sprinters from Innovation Cycling all over him as we're heading into the sprint. 2 kilometers left. They're going to go down this long straight road and then turn left onto the Torture, the Statue of Liberty homage. But what a move from Gavin Dempster. Featherweight being popped there. That is Gavin Arbor with a feather. So that means he won't have one for the sprint finish, meaning he's running out of matches as well. Great move from Gavin. Trying to use the peloton they were lapping from the C category to try and create carnage, to try and destroy Valdemar. They've gotten this far. They're not afraid to attack. They're not afraid to try something new. But here comes the left-hand turn, which means we're about 1 kilometer away. And Trzynski goes again. 8 watts per kilo. This could be the move. Who's going to be the first one to get back onto it? Steve Young. That looks like there was a second of hesitation there from Innovation. But Steve Young is into the draft. He's got a bit more left as we go over the cobblestone bridge in just a second. And I'm hoping that you're counting all the lampposts and squirrel out on course as we pass the beautiful New York City Central Park. Steve Young still in the front. Gavin Dempster has gone on to the attack with 1 kilometer to go. 15 watts per kilo. Aero Power was being popped by Team Poland back in the bunch. This is the match he had to burn, and Gavin Dempster is doing it. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 650 meters to go. Can he do it? Turns left, goes straight. He has broken the peloton, but Steve Young is forced to attack from this far out. He's leading out James Phillip. Who is it going to be? Who is going to take the KISS EU race? Gavin Dempster, has he got one more kick in him? He's on the torture, but Penn Henderson of Race WBR is on the front. He goes around Gavin Dempster, but James Phillips, the beast from Bristol, is going to take the win tonight. Actually, Bristol Road Racing Club. But yes, James Phillip, Innovation Cycling, Steve Young second place, and Penn Henderson third. What a race. What a performance from Innovation Cycling, from Gavin Dempster, from Team Poland, and everyone else involved. Thank you so much for making this a great race. If you did enjoy this, my name is Jess Brenker. I will be commentating more of these races regularly here in Swift Community Live, so make sure to drop a follow, drop a like, maybe even follow us on our social challenge. James Phillips, well done. Gavin Dempster, 15 watts per kilo. You almost did the impossible. Steve Young to get second place despite that massive lead out. Massive kudos. I tip my hat to you, sir. Great racing. That was a great race. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you next time here on Swift Community Live.